everyone, I'm Jen, and today I'm going to show you our printed block with folded fabric. I'm really excited about showing you this project because it's the first time we're showing our technique of using printable fabric. Printable fabric is really easy, and you only need a couple of things. One thing you're definitely going to need is a printer, cheaply bought, and you can purchase this at any electronics store. And then you're going to need to buy some printable fabric. Now there's a bunch of different kinds, so you may want to do some research before so that you can determine which type you want to use. And then always remember to refer to the manufacturer's instructions on drying time or anything else that would need to happen once you've printed out your printable fabric. Now we're going to be providing you with some files that will allow you to print the fabric out on the printable fabric of your choice. Once that's printed, it's going to look something like this with a great design on here. So again, just remember to take into consideration that drying time and any other instructions that you need to follow. And once you're done and ready to use your printable fabric, you can go ahead and just cut that out right on those outlines. Now let's get started, and I'm going to show you how to stitch out our printed block. So the first thing you're going to do is stitch out your squaring stitch. This is going to show you where you need to lay your piece of batting. Go ahead and take your batting, place it entirely over all of your stitches, and now you're ready for the tack down stitch. Once your tack down stitch has taken place and secured your batting to your stabilizer, you're going to go ahead, take your scissors, and make sure you trim all that excess batting around from each of the 4 edges here. Next, we're ready to place our printable fabric, and it's really important to remember that you're going to have another backing piece of paper behind that fabric, so you want to make sure that you've taken that off before you place your fabric down. I'm going to leave mine on, but make sure if you're doing this, you take this off. So I want you to take a peek at our placement stitch here because it's slightly different than the placement stitch you're used to us giving you. And this placement stitch is acting more as a guideline for the printed fabric, and it's going to help you to precisely lay that printed piece of fabric right on those placement stitches. So make sure you line each edge up with your placement stitch at this point in your design. Next, you're going to tack that printed fabric down to your block. Now the next step, you're going to want to go ahead and make sure that you trim all the excess printable fabric around the edges of the block. And then it's going to run a stippling. Now this stippling, the thread we use, really matches the printable fabric so well that it's really adding a great dimension to the block without taking away from the design that's been printed out on that printable fabric. Next, we're ready to add our folded fabric borders. So the first step is going to be your placement stitch that you see here. And you're going to go ahead and take your fabric, place that, and you can line it up right at the edge of the printable fabric or a 1/4 inch above that placement line. It's really important to remember that if you're using a directional fabric, you want to place that fabric right side facing down. And then you can tape that into place so that it's nice and secure. Next, what you're going to do is stitch out that folding line. That's going to look something like this here, and then you're ready to fold. So you want to pull that back. Don't be afraid to pull it nice and tight. Give it a great finger crease. That'll make it have a really nice crisp edge. I know how much we love that. And then just make sure you use some tape so that it's nice and secure and ready for that tacking stitch. In my next step here, I have already placed my top folded fabric border and my bottom, and I did that because I want to point out something really important. We have to remember that we're going to be adding our 2 side pieces of folded fabric border, so we have this extra kind of fabric that'll make it bulky if we added those other 2 pieces on top of that. So at this point, what you want to do is go ahead and trim these sides here on your top piece of folded fabric and these sides here on your bottom piece of folded fabric. Next, you'll add your last 2 pieces of folded fabric border, and then a great little design element is going to go ahead and stitch out on top of your block, and then your block is complete. So you'll just pull that out of your hoop, and you'll make sure that you trim to a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and then you'll have a great little block that's gonna look something like this. And then you also wanna remember that if you can't use that printable fabric, or you're not interested in using that printable fabric, you'll also have other designs on your CD as well that allow you to stitch out the folded fabric bordered blocks with a great little stitch design in the center. So we hope you enjoyed learning about our printed block.